We got the news that broke just a few hours ago, in fact, that the EU was green-lighting moving on to trade, but they're not going to actually officially start discussing it till March, and they want to wrap it up by October. Is that realistic?
Yeah, well, realistic but difficult were the words that Tusk used there, weren't they, Nera? Good to see you. So we've heard a lot of these words over the last few hours. A host of EU leaders giving their national press briefings and talking about the challenges that lie ahead on the Brexit front. Angela Merkel and Gentiloni from Italy both talking about how it will be very difficult, or a tough stage too. And the timing is going to be very interesting, isn't it, Nera? The immediate order of business is to move on to a transition or implementation phase. Once that is done, they then have some exploratory talks around trade before March, but then the hard work on trade doesn't start until March of next year, and they want to get it done by the autumn or the fall so that then the UK Parliament can vote on it, and all the individual parliaments can vote on it. So this leaves only, what, 6 months, 9 months max to actually have that trade conversation. So this timetable does look pretty tough.
Yeah. And what has the EU said that they want to happen during the transition phase, Anna?
During the transition phase, the EU wants to make sure that the UK is basically not in the room, not driving the bus, if you like. So the EU is going to be paying in, but they're not going to be having any decision-making powers. That's certainly one part of it. That perhaps was obvious, but it's certainly one part of the conversation that's been confirmed today as part of the release that we saw from the EU 27. So we know a little bit about the transition. Leo Varadkar, the Irish Taoiseach or Prime Minister, he went on to say that the transition will not be renewable. So if you have one transition, you can't then just extend it into perpetuity, should that be to anybody's liking. There are plenty of other issues that they've been falling out about here. One of them is migration, Nera. And we heard from Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor. She's not happy with what she's hearing, the disagreements on this subject.
We are not quite in agreement on inner solidarity, or not to the same extent as we are when it comes to external immigration. Here, we must continue our work, because it can't be that we have solidarity in Europe on certain matters and not on others.
So basically there is a divided EU on the subject of how you deal with migrants, and of course with the Syrian crisis continuing, that problem has not entirely gone away. Broadly speaking, the division is east-west. Even the leadership of the European Union doesn't agree. So we've got Donald Tusk and Jean-Claude Juncker on opposite sides of this one, at least on how you deal with them, what is the quota system or not that you use. They're going to try and find a solution by June, so another 6 months away or so.